Okay, what's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be talking about Limit Break Expansion, a brand new batch already applied to Global. It just feels like yesterday since we just had the last batch, but we're already back again with another batch of Limit Break expansions. We have 4 Sugo-Fest exclusive, we've got 2 treasure map units, and we've only got a very small handful of rare recruit characters. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off with the Sugo-Fest exclusives. First of which is going to be Luffy and Law. Now, Luffy and Law are a lot of people's favorite units. I mean, probably not nowadays, but especially when they first released, this character, extremely popular, also extremely powerful. So let's go ahead and see what their expansion is. So their expansion, they get a pretty good amount of HP, pretty good amount of attack. Their recovery also really good. Obviously, for a character like this that likes to utilize all facets of their stats, of their HP, attack, and recovery, you know, Limit Break expansion is going to be a huge benefit for them. But let's see what else they get. Captain effect does not change. And cooldown goes down to 11 turns instead of the 12 turn base. Look, I'm just going to say this outright, that I do not think you should Limit Break expand this character. If this character maybe was used a little bit more often, or this character was actually really good in Pirate Rumble, I would say probably go for it. But right now, no, I don't think I would suggest Luffy and Law. You know, -1 cooldown is nice, but as I said, this character doesn't really see much play right now, and especially moving forward into the future, this character really doesn't see much play, so I would say, no, you should probably skip this one, unfortunately. I know a lot of people like Luffy Law, but their expansion is not worth the materials that you invest into it. This is the next one here, Cat Dog, or Inuarashi, and Neko Mamashi, so let's have a look and see what they get. Stats across the board, yeah, okay, looking pretty nice. Their captain ability does not change, and they go down to a 12 turn cooldown. Okay, so they get -2 from their expansion. That's a nice addition. And of course, just the stats and the cooldown. Look, again, similar to Luffy and Law, in the fact that these are characters that don't really see play anymore. Maybe when this character eventually gets a super evolution down the line, having -2 cooldown on their special might be really good. But right now, I'd probably say skip this one. Unfortunately, once again, like I'm actually a huge fan of this character, but yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I haven't really used this character that much, honestly, in the past, like, 12 months, I would say. Now, V2 Rayleigh is getting a Limit Break expansion. Now, the very interesting thing about V2 Rayleigh getting a Super Evolution... Okay, sorry. Well, I was going to get to that. The fact that he has a Limit Break expansion right now on Global, or is about to arrive, is very interesting because he gets a Super Evolution. We're expecting it at the end of November. This character is very good in Pirate Rumble, so let's have a look and see what he gets. Stats, he gets a bit of health, bit of attack, you know, pretty stock standard stuff. Now, his Limit Break Captain effect reduces the cooldowns by 1 turn at the start of the fight, which is the same. Boost attack of all characters by 3.9875. It's a very specific number. So that goes up from a 3.5 to nearly a 4 times Captain. So you only get all of these buffs if your HP is below 30% at the start of the quest. Otherwise, it's a 2.75 boost, and then you still get a 1.25 times boost to HP and recovery. So yeah, the 2.5 base goes up to 2.75, and then the 3.5 goes up to essentially a 4 times Captain. That's the upgrade there. And does he get any cooldown? He gets -2 cooldown down to a 12 turn cooldown. So look, I would say this character getting expansion is probably only going to be done by like whales or people that have like a lot of extra material sitting around in their character box, because this guy, when he gets his Super Evolution, is so good in Pirate Rumble. Now, we can have a look just very briefly at this guy's Super Evolution and his upgraded Captain effect. Now, the funny thing is that his base, without expansion, as soon as you Super Evolve him, his Captain effect is the exact same as his Limit Break expansion. So that's very interesting, right? And then when you expand him and go ahead and Super Evolve him, you get -2 cooldown at the start of the fight. And if your HP is below 30%, it's a 4.5 boost, and that's to all characters, by the way. And then if you're above 30%, you're still getting a 3 times boost, and you still get the 1.25 HP and recovery boost. Captain effect is actually pretty good. There's a lot of characters that are health reducers that you could use. So this is nice, right? And again, 12 turn cooldown. And as I said, the big thing about this character getting a Super Evolution is the upgrade to his Pirate Rumble ability and his special ability, which are really nice additions to a lot of teams. So look, I said I would only do this character if you have an excess of materials. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about it too much. But for those people that are going hardcore right now on Pirate Rumble, you know, like people that are going up to like top 500, top 100 in Pirate Rumble, people like that are probably going to be expanding this Rayleigh. And all I have to say is, in the coming months, you probably want to be very, very careful about challenging V2 Rayleigh because he's very, very scary. Okay, so let's move on to the final Sugo-Fest exclusive of the Limit Break expansion batch, which is this character, which is Nami. This Nami doesn't really see that much play anymore. I mean, throughout this month, Nami will see a lot of play because the not really the Super Evolution, but the release of the brand new Sugo-Fest batch with Kid and Hawkins being the Dex super types. This character obviously works really well with those characters, right? So, of course, stat boost. Cooldown goes down to 12. 12 turn cooldown for what Nami does is actually pretty strong. But that's all she really gets, right? Oh, she does get a captain ability. I totally went past that. So, just cooldown by 1 at the start of the fight, and we'll go ahead and boost Dex. Characters attack by 4.5 if they have a matching slot, 3.75 otherwise. Strength and Dex are beneficial. So, yeah, it's the exact same captain effect, except instead of being a 4 times boost with a matching slot, it's a 4.5 times boost with a matching slot. So that's a pretty big difference from her expanded captain effect. But again, how often are you really utilizing this character as a captain? Probably not too much. So for that reason, I would say it's not really worth it. I mean, even though the minus two cooldown is actually pretty significant, but no, I don't really suggest doing this. Plus, actually, I don't even know what she does in Pirate Rumble. Actually, her abilities are not listed. I'll have to look that up. I don't even know if she's even good in Pirate Rumble. But either way, I wouldn't really suggest it. So the next one, in terms of treasure map, we're going to get into that right now. This is Shanks and Beckman. So you can obviously notice that a lot of these characters here are actually Dex, I'm noticing. But Shanks and Beckman, let's have a look at their expansion. Of course, with the treasure map units, they don't really get too much. So you can see the -1 cooldown. Typically, treasure map units get 2 turns of cooldown at least. So only -1 is a bit of a downfall, but then there's the stat boost. So 12 turn cooldown for what he does is actually pretty good. Of course, it gives you a full board of empty orbs, but you get a 3 times chain lock and a 3 times color affinity. But the big problem there is that during the turn you use his special, you cannot use any other special. So that is obviously a huge downside. But I do not suggest Limit Break expanding Shanks and Beckman. But one thing you do have to know is that treasure map units don't take as many materials as Sugo-Fest exclusive. So you could go ahead and Limit Break expand like nearly every treasure map unit before you could go ahead and expand like just a Sugo-Fest exclusive. The next one is Smoothie and Oven that are getting an expansion. I don't really use this character too often, so I would probably say just preemptively, I don't suggest it. But let's see what they get. Yeah, they just get some stats and only -1 cooldown again. That's a bit of a downfall there. They're already at a 14 turn cooldown. I think that should have been a bit lower. That should have been at least a 12 or an 11 turn cooldown. Yeah, dude, I do not suggest expanding Smoothie Oven. Nah, that's a bit of a downfall there. We can move on to some rare recruits now. So the next one is going to be rare recruit Cavendish. This character on release is actually pretty good. So let's see what he gets. He does not get a buffed captain ability. He goes down to 9 turns with his expansion. But remember, once again, rare recruits do not cost as many materials. They're not as harsh on your materials as the Sugo-Fest exclusive characters. But yeah, he just gets some stats, -1 cooldown, and the potential ability of ship bind duration. But unfortunately, that particular ability is not very common. Or like, it's not a very common ability that's going to be useful. So just for that reason, I don't suggest it. Plus, again, it's another character that doesn't really see that much play anymore. This one, Dex Rob Lucci, again, just another character that doesn't see that much play anymore. On release, he was pretty good. I mean, he's a Rainbow Orb booster. He reduces defense, but it's only by 50%. And he's a health cutter. He only goes down to 9 turns, only 1 turn of cooldown. What's his potential ability that he gets? Ship bind duration. Yeah, again, not very good. I don't suggest it. No, do not expand this character, and not worth it. Okay, Crobin, as I call them, Crocodile and Robin from the dual batch. Let's have a look at what they get. So this unit is a Rainbow Color Affinity booster. Yeah, so they reduce damage taken and then Rainbow Color Affinity booster. Okay, this is more like it. They get 3 turns of cooldown reduction with their expansion. I like seeing that a bit better. And reduce Sailor Despair duration, which is the Fear debuff on Global. That's actually pretty good. I mean, what are their crewmate abilities? Sailor ability, restores cooldown. Okay, yeah, this is... And silence, yeah, this is good. Yeah, okay. So, I think this is the best of the rare recruits that get an expansion so far, because this unit could definitely still see play at the moment, and having Fear debuff, I think, is really good on top of their crewmate abilities that they already have, and they get 3 turns of cooldown. So, yeah, this is definitely the best of the rare recruits thus far. Let's have a look at what else we have. We've got Daruma, who actually has a really good support ability, but doesn't really see much play as a sailor anymore. But let's have a look and see what he gets. So he does not get a buff captain ability, of course. It goes down to 9 turns, but what does he do? Paralysis and special bond by 2 turns, health cut, and an attack boost. Yeah, that's not very good. Only 2 turns. He does have the Sailor Despair reduction, which is okay, actually. But again, this character just isn't really used that much. Look, the only reason you're going to be using this character is because of his really good support ability. His support ability is very good. So, yeah, I would say probably steer clear of this one. Even if you like only really use powerhouse teams, I still don't suggest it because it's just this character is just not that good. Moving on to the final rare recruit of the batch. So we're just absolutely flown through all the characters here. But this is Kanjuro, another character that has a very good support ability. So what does he get? Again, just some generic stats. He goes down to a 9-turn cooldown. Okay, so his special ability is actually still not bad. It reduces Bind and Despair by 5, and then if your captain is a striker, you get a 2.75 chain lock. I remember when this guy first released, he was absolutely broken for a 2.75 chain lock on a generic rare recruit, and then having utility as well. So good. And he gets cooldown reduction. Really? Wow. Oh, that's surprising. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, I was not expecting that. I'll tell you that for sure. Was not expecting that. Look, we don't have the information here right now. I would probably expect it would enable him to be fully maxed out at the start of the quest. That's probably what would happen. So, actually not too bad, but I would say, you know, don't expand him until you actually are going to be using him for content. And as I mentioned, his support effect is really good. The only problem is that he only attaches to very specific units. You know, there's not too many good Kinemons, not many too good Raizos. There's not really many good Momonosuke's either. And at least we've got a couple of good Okiku, so that's okay. But yeah, that's a pretty good support effect overall. So there we go, that's the rundown of all the new Limit Break batch. In terms of the best ones, I do think that Crocodile Robin and Kanjuro, as we just talked about, are the best ones. And then for Sugo-Fest exclusives, I would probably be looking out for Rayleigh, but at the same time, there's probably already a bunch of characters in your character box that you have targeted for Limit Break expansions right now. So I would say do not prioritize any of the Sugo-Fest exclusives you saw in this video. But as I said, if you're really big into your Pirate Rumble, this may be one you may want to invest in. But again, it's so many materials that I just don't really see any way in for me to kind of persuade people to do it, because it just doesn't seem like a good idea. Personally speaking, even if I had the materials, I don't know if I'd even want to do it. I mean, obviously, if I had like infinite materials, hypothetically, of course I'd do it. But like, if I had enough to expand him, which I don't currently, but if I did, I would not do it. I would rather save it for a character that I'm going to use in generic content that's going to help me clear content a little easier, rather than it's going to give me a slight advantage in Pirate Rumble. That's the way I look at it anyway, but you may have differing opinions. But anyways, that's the breakdown of the brand new Limit Break expansion batch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.